Welcome to another episode of the Why Not Today podcast. I am your host, Leslie Kane, and for more than 30 years, I've built businesses through relationships, referrals, networking, and consistent action. Now I help other entrepreneurs find more opportunities to attract more clients and grow their businesses with confidence. If you're ready for practical strategies, encouragement, and accountability to help you move forward, you're in the right place. So let's jump into today's episode. All right, it's a subject I've been talking a lot about. I'm actually doing a fun micro challenge next week if anybody wants to know about it. I'm starting on Monday, August 10th. So if anybody's interested, let me know. But let's talk about social media. And it's really not the problem, it's your marketing plan. So, how many times I have heard somebody say, I hate social media. I don't know what to post. I don't want to bother people. I think everybody's figured it out. I don't have time. And the problem, guys, is not really social media. The problem is how you're thinking about social media. And we need to I want to challenge you guys to think of it a completely different way. Because when you do, it becomes easier to show up consistently and actually enjoy it. So I have grown a business for over 31 years. And literally when I started my first business, we didn't have internet. We didn't have cell phones. We couldn't accept credit cards. And so it was eyeball to eyeball, knee to knee. And I went to more networking events, stood at more tables and did more events in the cold, in the hot, in the rain, in heels to meet the people. And then I did appointments and got referrals and met people that way. And it worked great. But now the world's different. And now we have social media. So I want to talk about how to leverage this to grow your business. So there's so many businesses that struggle these days because they see social media as just another thing on your to-do list, a place where everybody else seems more successful, as I said, a distraction, a waste of time, something they quote unquote have to do. And no wonder we're exhausted with social media. But I really want you to think of social media as social media, just like it says. Instead, think of it so we want to be social, but I also want you to think of it as a marketing department. So I don't know about you guys, but I can't afford a big marketing department, and most businesses can't. And it's changing so quickly. Like, can you do a television commercial, a radio campaign? When I started my business, people literally did yellow pages ads. A billboard, have a full-time marketing employment. Most people can't do that. And so we do have a whole marketing department at our hands. And it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's LinkedIn. So think of that as your marketing plan, your marketing department. So, and depending on where your people are and where you want to play, pick a platform and don't go all over the place. Like Facebook is the platform I focus on the most. However, I do share my content on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, my Google business profile. But Facebook is the place I interact. I want to build that connection with people. So think about social media as your marketing plan. So every time you show up on social media, you're introducing people to your business, you're building trust, and you're staying top of it. And really, the whole idea with marketing is getting people to know, like, and trust you. It's letting people know what you do, who you are, who you can help. I had a call today with somebody, a coaching call, and she just started a new business and she doesn't have a client. So, yay for her for having the courage to start a business because it's scary. And so, when we were talking, I'm asking, like, who's your ideal client? What problem do you solve? Honestly, she couldn't really answer it. And so, I gave her some tips and ideas to come up with her avatar and her client and the problem she solves. So when you're on social media, it is not a sales pitch. It is not trying to sell people stuff. Just like a networking event. You don't walk into a networking event and say, hi, my name is Leslie. Will you buy my services? That doesn't work. It's kind of like going from a blind date to married in 30 seconds. Not going to happen. So with social media, you want to be social. You want to interact with people. You want to make friends, but you want to build that know, like, and trust. And I've been saying this a lot recently, but it used to be that you needed 7 touches to complete a sale to build that know, like, and trust. But now it's between 21 and I thought it was 21. I talked to a friend of mine that actually owns a marketing firm, and she said, no, it's more like 25 times. So can you imagine having to meet somebody 25 times at a networking event in front of them to build that rapport? we don't have enough time in the day. And so because there's a lot of noise out there and a confused mind does nothing, you need to show up continually. And so marketing doesn't, as I said, mean selling. It's about sharing and getting people to know, like, and trust you. So it can be a lesson, like something you learned. I talked about, and I've talked about this several times, my dog, a lesson from walking Iggy Pop. Like she knows who she doesn't like and who she likes instantly. So my lesson was pay attention to your own intuition. And if you don't feel it, then don't waste your time. It could be a story of a client, a story of a success story, a story about your life. As I said, it could be a client success story, a behind the scenes moment. So right now I'm putting together this social media challenge. So a behind the scenes could be I am listening to podcasts, collecting data, doing some research, going into chat, creating the slides, doing all the stuff. It could be something you're learning. If you follow me at all, I listen to a ton of podcasts and read a whole heck of a lot of books. So it could be something you learn from that. They said the best way to learn something is once you learn it to teach it. It could be giving somebody encouragement. It could be a client, a friend, you share some of their success. One of my inner circle members recently shared a success she had, and I shared it on my Facebook page. It could be a question, like just to get to know people, those kind of questions, or it could be a question that you truly want to know to help grow your business or help other people. And it could just be a random fun thing. My coach says you need to have boring day posts. And some of the most popular posts I've shared on social media are toilet paper under or over. And by the way, it's over. Black jelly beans, yes or no? It's a heck hard no for me. And then the other one, oh, do you make your bed? Those are probably the three most popular posts. I did do a post in July. I went to a drone show, and not only did I post the pictures of the drones and all that, but I tagged Fairfax County Park Authority that put it on. And last I looked, which was weeks ago, I had over 10,000 views on that post. So you just never know. So you're simply giving people an opportunity to know you. So if you watch my Facebook, my social media, you know that I live in a condo, which I call the castle. So I always have pictures and views up there. I have a dog named Iggy Pop. And if you don't know the story behind that, I've looked it up. It's kind of fun. I have lots of family members, but my youngest sister Amanda has Down syndrome, so I usually focus on her a lot. I love the beach. I love sunsets and sunrises. And by the way, I have two businesses, so people get to know me. So be social on social media. It's not a billboard. It is, imagine you're walking into your favorite coffee shop. Where I live, it's commercial and residential all together. So like I was standing on my balcony or looking out, like 10 people walking around. And so it's kind of like meeting people when you go for a walk, which by the way, I have met tons of people on a walk with my dog. But if you walk into your favorite coffee shop, you don't walk in, throw your business cards on the table, say bye for me, and then leave. No, you smile, you introduce yourself, you ask questions, you listen, you celebrate people, you encourage people. And that's exactly how social media should feel. I follow Mel Robbins a lot, and she has a great podcast. She talked about she moved to a new area. She didn't know anybody. She had to get to know people. So she would go to the same coffee shop over and over again and got to know the barista, got to know the people that were there often. She wrote their names down so she remembered it. And that's the same thing you can do on social media and not leave your house. I'm all about getting out of my house, but sometimes, time is valuable. So what can you do sitting behind a computer? So the more conversations you have, the more relationships you build. So I was DMing somebody on Facebook the other day, and she's like, how did we connect? Because we had lots of mutual friends. And I actually came up with this term, and it just came out of nowhere, Facebook roulette. So when you go on Facebook, and I guess this is a game I'm playing, that you go on Facebook and it says friend suggestions. And I literally let Facebook tell me who I should be friends with. And it knows the algorithms, it knows who I am. Like I have a business that serves predominantly women business owners. And so almost all my friend suggestions are women's business owners. There's very few men. And a lot of people in the business world. For a while there, I was getting a ton of real estate agents. And then I've been working with somebody that's a medium. And so all of a sudden I'm getting a bunch of mediums. And so I have several coaching clients that are organizers. So organizers pop up. And so I let literally Facebook play roulette, and I just do 10 or 20 different friend suggestions every day. Now, what has happened to me is I've got over 5,000 friends. I hit 5,000 friends on Facebook, which, by the way, if you have that many friends, you can't add friends. So I've been deleting friends. And that's a whole other episode. But, it could be someone from high school. I actually connected with somebody a couple of years ago that was my roommate in college, which Robin and I were just texting this morning. Somebody you met at a networking event. It could be a friend of a friend. It could be another business over lots of connections. And it's so much fun. I kind of my rule of thumb is if we have at least 10 mutual friends, then I will send them a friend request. And so you never know who is out there. Could be potential referral partners, future podcast guests, new friends, sometimes clients. And like I was communicating with somebody I just connected with recently, Amanda. We talked about the Netflix shows we watch. By the way, we're going to have a call once we both stop watching All American when it's over and talk about that. We talked about the beach. We talked about beach traffic. We talked about all kinds of things before we even got to a business conversation. So think about how amazing that is. You can build meaningful relationships without ever leaving your house. So as I said, someone invited you to a network event every single day where thousands of business owners were gathered, you'd probably go. But oh my gosh, that would be so overwhelming. There's a couple networking events locally that are too many people. And it's too much for me. I always say I'm a Trader Joe's shopper, not a Wegmans. I get overwhelmed. And so social media is a place I can kind of control it and just have fun. And from the comfort of your own house and have fun and think about not of, oh, this job, but this is fun. Like, who is God putting in my path? Who's on my Facebook roulette today that I need to be connected with? So, and also, you don't need to be perfect. You don't have to say the perfect words. Do not use AI, to come up with your perfect script. Your office doesn't have to be perfect, which mine probably if you're watching this on YouTube, it doesn't look perfect. Your message doesn't have to be perfect. Your strategy doesn't have to be perfect. Get it. You don't have to be perfect. People want to see you real. I've been doing Facebook Lives every day, and I've done a couple hot and sweaty, and my hair pulled back, and not a stick of makeup on. So people want to connect with real people, not the fake ones. Yes, there's influencers that are doing exactly perfect, but that's not who I want to attract. I want to attract the people who are like me. So think back to high school. And I don't know about you guys, but where I went to high school was a big high school, and there was 500 in my graduating class. Well, there was this main intersection in high school, and all the cool kids were there. And so as a freshman, oh my goodness, that was so uncomfortable. You were scared walking through there. You never know who was looking at you. Were you carrying your backpack right? I don't even know if we had backpacks then, but you were very uncomfortable. By your sophomore year, you got a little more comfortable. By your senior year, you rocked the main intersection. And social media works the same way. You got to consistently show up. You need to get confidence by walking through it, by showing up, by doing the things. And confidence grows when you're consistent. So what does social media really do? It helps people to know you, to like you, to trust you. Say that all the time. Know, like, and trust. Remember you, refer you. I have literally walked into a room of a networking event. This happened to me more than once, or was walking across the shopping center one day and somebody stopped me. Oh, looks like it. I'm like, how do I know you? But we friended, and they're like, I keep seeing your stuff, and I keep seeing your picture, and I keep seeing you. And that's what I want to do. I want to walk into a room. People know me. And isn't that cool that they met me on social media too? So, so by the time people want to reach out to work you, they've already worked with you. They know who you are. They know your values. They know you connect with them. I had somebody earlier, they're like, she's new in the area. She's like, I'd love to connect with you personally and maybe get together. She said, I'm new in the area. I don't know many people. I like your energy. So do you feel people's energy? And you can tell it by typing and by connecting and seeing what people have going on. So it's just, you're not meeting people for the first time if you built that know, like, and trust. You're just continuing that relationship that started online. So visibility does create opportunities. You guys, we got to be visible. Your goal isn't going to go viral. Your goal isn't going to become familiar. Visibility creates those opportunities. So that one conversation, one referral, one invitation, one podcast listener, one client, you just never know. And if you haven't listened to my podcast episode or seen on my website about the starfish story, I highly recommend it. business grows one relationship at a time. So a simple daily marketing plan, spending about 30 minutes a day is what I do. Post something helpful, comment on somebody else's post, congratulate someone, answer a message, encourage someone, share a lesson, celebrate a client, introduce yourself to someone new. Those aren't random social media activities, your marketing department at work. And literally what I do is first I track it, because if you follow me at all, a track number grows, and I will say that to my death. But what I do is when I go for my 30 minutes in social media, first I go in, and throughout the day, a couple times I have done sent friend requests. So I go to all my new friends first, and I send them a quick little hello message. And then I get some, and it's a fun, hi, I'm excited to connect with you. I love to see all our mutual friends, and I also love making new friends. And then I just ask them a question. How was your summer? What'd you do for the 4th of July? Are you having a good week? Slow or is it fast? I ask something currently related to what's going on. And then we get engaged and we start talking. And then if they're a good fit and we've made a connection, I'll invite them to join my consistent clients group on Facebook. And then from there, I welcome them. I send them an introduction post post. And then I send them an opportunity to get one of my podcast episodes. And so it is a system, and it's like so much fun. I look forward to that every day. And I'm tracking like how many new friends I've added, how many people joined my group, how many people have I engaged with. And it becomes fun. It's like I'm meeting new friends and I'm sitting at my computer. So I have a challenge. If you know anything about me, it's all about taking action. So every time you open Facebook or social media, and by the way, get in and act like a marketing pro and not get distracted by everybody's stuff. Go in and do what you need to do. So ask yourself this week, instead of asking, what should I post today? Ask, how can I help one person know, like, and trust me? Like, post things not for the people and the masses, but with one person in mind. It might be put a picture of your avatar at your computer before you go online, and that's who you're posting for. And then so that one question can change how you approach social media. Instead of creating content just to stay visible, you're building real relationships. So social media isn't the problem. I want you to think of it as your marketing department. It may be one of the greatest opportunities you've ever had to build relationships with people who otherwise never known you existed. Literally, I had a contract with David's Bridal, and the store was almost an hour away from me. I spent so many weekends driving up and down 95 in traffic. And I would go to people's houses, and maybe they'd be there, maybe they wouldn't. Oh my gosh, the time I wasted. But we didn't have these tools available. So think about it as you don't need a huge marketing budget. You already have the most powerful marketing tools available. Use it to connect, use it to serve, use it to build relationships. Because businesses have always been about people, and you need to build those relationships. And the next person needs what you have to offer. It's just one connection away. So instead of avoiding social media this week, start thinking as your marketing department and ask yourself, why not today? So think of it as a fun thing. And I always open it up going, who knows who that I'm going to connect with that God wants to put in my path. I actually had a call with somebody that's going to join the visibility challenge I'm doing next week, and we connected on Facebook, and we had a call the other day, and it was a great call. I really connected with her, and she's like, this is exactly what I've been looking for, what I've been praying for. And so it's out there. You just have to trust it. So thanks again for listening to the Why Not Today podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, post it on social media, or leave a review. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs who are ready to grow their businesses and take action on what matters most. To learn more about Why Not Today, our community, the coaching programs, free resources, you can go to the Facebook group Consistent Clients, or check out my website at whynottodaymovement.com. And remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step and ask yourself, why not today? Thanks for listening or watching. Bye.